knows about Fury, and talking to Coach Ron Kubalanza before the game, I was asking him what is he going to do against a team that is so well covered, so well known, and he says he just wants his team to play their game. Classic strategy. As long as you can stay focused on yourselves, it doesn't matter who your opponent is, and they're hoping that that sort of consistency and mindset is going to take them into an upset win here in Power Pools.
So as we see the teams take the line, Nemesis in black. They'll be pulling here from the downwind end zone. The wind has picked up significantly here. Definitely heavier than it was yesterday at this time. Fury in blue receiving. Another thing to keep an eye on, Fury lost one of their key players, Emily Damon, yesterday to a torn ACL. She tore ACL in the very first game. Emily Damon, according to Maddie saying, is their most complete player. She's the anchor of their offense, and she helps run their resets correctly. So Maddie said they're really working on their reset movement. They're rotating through their handlers. They've got 6 other handlers out there to improve their handler movement. They struggled with it yesterday. So keep an eye on Fury's handler offense. Alex Snyder with the disc. Nemesis starts out in a man-to-man defense. And a turnover right away. Oh, great catch.
Nice save on the sideline, getting past the reset, but very heads up downfield. Fury still with possession in their first offensive point.
That's Maggie Rudin with the disc. She had the the possession saving catch earlier. Rudin out of Sonoma State. Swings around to Snyder. And Snyder to the end zone. And Fury on the board first to Christy Bowen. Fury up 1-0.
Yeah, you might be able to hear the wind breezing through our microphones. It's another one of those windy mornings here in Sarasota, and it carried that one disc on the swing, but for the most part, Fury looks very good and comfortable in a strong wind. A bit of a crosswind today, so we won't have as much of an upwind downwind battle. Oh, excuse me, it is coming right towards us in the booth. So we'll see how Nemesis' offense does in this downwind situation.
So 1-0, Fury with the lead here. A clean first possession from Fury. Alex Snyder with the disc. Snyder with the pull, solid pull. Just past midfield.
Offsides is called. Offsides on Fury. They're gonna take a second pull at this. So for ultimate, offsides is the same as you would expect in football when the players cross the end zone line before the disc goes up. It is a violation. On the second offsides penalty, then the offensive team or defensive team, because you can't have offensive offsides, will get a yardage penalty. On the first one, though, it's just a repull.
So just past midfield. Fury comes down man-to-man.
Kelly Johnson, who just threw the disc upfield, right through the hands of Katie Delara.
Delora. So Delora can't hold on to it. Now Fury gets an opportunity going upwind. This is definitely the tougher angle. Nice movement from Fury.
Bowen with the disc on the sideline. Fury using the whole field, but then dropping it down near their end zone. Nemesis will have to go a full 65 yards.
So Kelly Johnson pick up the disc. Nice break to Delora. Down the middle. That's Christine Doobie. And here's a shot to the end zone. Easily pulled in by Julia Sherwood. Sorry, that was Cree Howard with the block. Snyder out to Howard. Back to Snyder. Snyder with a nice up move and a shot to the end zone, but just out of reach.
Snyder was looking to hit Christy Bowen going up line. I don't think Bowen saw that the pass was coming out. She might have been able to make a better adjustment on it.
So both teams playing man-to-man defense so far in this game. Margalit Gould with the disc. Gould up line. Kelly Johnson. And just out of reach of a receiver. Lizzie Shield unable to come up with it. And Snyder marked by Delora. Sherwood tries the dish. Incomplete.
Nemesis in great field position, less than half the field to go. Unable to capitalize as that disc flies past Lizzie Shield.
So that's 2 turnovers now on upline downwind cuts for Nemesis. They're just throwing a little too far. That's a tough throw. You got to put a lot of touch on it, and the wind is really pushing it faster. And Fury gives it back again. You know, Nemesis continuing to get the disc back. Another downwind turnover for them. They cannot continue to give Fury these upwind opportunities. They need to be able to be more efficient downwind, or eventually Fury's going to punch one in upwind. Alex Snyder walking to pick up the disc. Marked by Kay Delora. Interesting matchup here. These two actually played with each other a number of years back on Colorado's Rare Air. Genevieve LaRoche back to Snyder. Up to Cree Howard. Howard looking long, going down the line to Sherwood. Well placed throw. Looking for Snyder.
Good job switching the whole field there by Fury.
Good patience. And Snyder with a shot to the end zone. And Fury with the upwind break to LaRoche.
And before Alex Snyder into the end zone. This is finds Genevieve LaRoche for the Fury score.
So Fury with the upwind break, up 2-0 here early.
Fury 2.
Nemesis had plenty of opportunities on this point, many possessions. But then Fury showing very disciplined offense, going upwind, using both sides of the field to work it in.
Yeah, Fury did a good job on those first couple of possessions. They made it all the way upfield and forced Nemesis to go a long way. When Nemesis got the disc less than half field, they weren't able to capitalize. And in a type of windy game like this, when you have those short field possessions, that's when you really need to punish the team. If they're able to take it all the way upfield on you, even if you get the disc back, you're just making it harder and harder for yourself. So now Chicago offense facing an upwind point. Kayla Jorgensen set to pull.
Shield receives. Centers up to Johnson. Nice low throw, good release. An incomplete pass from Nemesis. Sun with the shot. And a beautiful put to Dara Clancy for the goal. So Fury easily able to capitalize on that downwind turnover. Sun with a beautiful little forehand there. Bends that around the defender, and Clancy able to just clap catch that one in. 3-0 Fury.
And after 2 breaks, Chicago Nemesis is going to take a timeout. We're going to show you how both of these teams got into our power pools. The power pool of E is Fury, Scandal, Nemesis, and Brute Squad. Fury and Brute Squad coming from the regular pool A. The 2 top finishers go on to power pool E, and since they already have a game, that crosses over into the power pool, so they're both going to play 2 games today against the power pool, or the regular pool C winners. And the top 2 finishers there, of course, Nemesis finished number 2 in pool C. Scandal from Washington, D.C., getting the number 1 seed. And Nemesis breaking seed over Capitals and almost breaking seed over Scandal. They had a double game point loss against Scandal. And as they were telling me before the game, in their double game point loss against Scandal, they had the disc on the goal line on that golden goal opportunity, but unable to punch it in. So good showing from the 11 seed overall, able to break seed, and they're playing a tough game against Fury, but I'm sure they're very happy with how they finished.
That last score for Fury. Advance the Sun into the end zone for Dara Clancy. Fury 3, Nemesis 0.
So 3-0 Fury here off of the Nemesis timeout. Fury putting out a very similar line to what they put out last point. Jorgensen and Sun anchoring it. The wind is picking up, so Fury working upwind. Jorgensen with the pull. A short pull. This one lands before midfield and rolls back some. Nemesis in a side stack. Really struggling with those downwind throws here early. That was Val Nye, intended receiver.
Number 33, Anna Nazaroff to pick up for Fury after that Nemesis center.
Anna Nazaroff picks up the disc. Nice break around to Jorgensen. Nazaroff with a huge grab. Foul call on the throw.
I don't think Nazarov was the intended receiver there, and it looked like it was going to get D'd on the undercut. She just put her body on the line and saved the possession of that disc.
Liz Penny with it. Back to Casey, Lauren Casey. Inside out to Nazarov.
Chicago less than half the field to go. Of course, they had a similar position on the pole, but threw it away. Let's see if they're going to be more patient and try to hit some more sure passes.
Look at the reset. Not a lot of spin on that disc. And unable to come up with it. Kelly Johnson. So now Fury has another shot, and they're working upwind. Kayla Jorgensen across to Sun. Intended receiver there, Nazarov, unable to connect.
Kelly Johnson getting her second D of that point to keep Nemesis, keep Nemesis's chances alive.
And Nemesis takes another deep shot. Again, far out of reach, but I think in this situation that was probably a good choice given how much yardage they had to cover.
The deep shots from less than half the field, I'm not sure if their team and their coach was really hoping to get those, but when you just need to get the field position and hopefully force a short field turnover, like they did. Nemesis now less than 25 yards to the goal line. It looks like they're setting up in a vertical stack, a red zone offense.
Kelly Johnson, marked by Penny. Back, nice little give and go. Shot to the end zone. Again, the wind pushes that one down. Intended receiver, Rindfleisch. So Nazarov to pick the disc up. Penny. Nazarov. Jorgensen on the sideline. Nazarov going up line. Brings it back. Across to Sun. Sun with the IO. But just out of reach of Castle Sinecrope. So Nemesis again working downwind. Nice movement here. Rindfleisch with the disc. Margalit Gould to Delora, to Shield. Kelly Johnson breaks free, and Johnson goes IO, but into the waiting hands of number 42, Dara Clancy. And now Casey with the disc. Nazarov. Penny. Penny with the IO. Sinecrope. Back to Penny. Incomplete pass all the way back up to Fury's defending goal line. You know, you look at this Fury roster and the lineup, and they just have such depth of skills on this team. You know, they're really balanced out here. On Nemesis on the other side, they only have 3 or 4 players that they're running almost everything through, and those players are having to play every point so far in this game. Delora. Kelly Johnson. Gould with the disc. Back to Johnson. And Shield bids, but not able to pull it in. Casey with it. Jorgensen wide open, lots of space. Looks like there's a pick call.
Play is stopped. It might be going back to a foul on the turnover from Kelly Johnson's throw. It is. She is getting the disc back. Observers bringing it in, so it is a contested foul.
This is Liz Penny on the mark. Observer rules it is a foul. And that shot's over the head, out of the reach of the receiver. So Fury getting another shot here, going upwind. Sun marked by Delora. Back to Casey. Sun. Across the field to Sinecrope. Nazarov. Good movement from Fury. All these players are confident throwers. They're able to move the disc pretty quickly, so it doesn't stop. But this one from Cinnacrup way up in the air. Penny reads it. Nazarov gets low for that throw. Nemesis struggling to contain, and here's a shot to the end zone. And a catch. And the goal. That's Liz Penny hauling that one in.
The assist from Kayla Jorgensen going up the backhand sideline. Fury in a long point, able to punch it in. Yeah, Kyle, in that point you're talking about the depth of Fury and how Nemesis is going to have to rely on some of their top players. One thing that the coach was talking to us before the game that is going to be very important for the Nemesis team to focus on is being patient and trying to stay in control of this game. We saw some of the turns on the goal line that they were just trying to rush in for a goal, and I know that it's difficult as a player when you think your team's relying on you. You want to take the quick shots and score it quickly, but this is going to be a real mental battle for the top players on the team. And now we see that Nemesis has changed up their lineup, putting in a few more D players and giving their top team a nice rest on the sideline.
Well, I think what you really see is the difference in the way the disc moves between these two teams, right? Fury is catching it, they're pivoting, they're often hitting their first look on a throw. And with Nemesis, you get one or two passes like that, and then one of the players catches the disc who doesn't have quite as much confidence in their throws. And so all the movement of their offense stops, right? And everyone on Fury gets to catch up and play defense. They get set up again. You know, and that was their starting O-line. And now they're putting a D-line out with not as many disc skills. So on their heels early, 4-0, Fury with the lead. Going upwind, Nemesis. It's Leanne King with the disc. Nice low throw, but unable to hold on to it is Julia Weiner. So Fury right on the goal line. Quick break mark throw. That's Christy Bowen with the catch. So Fury capitalizing very quickly on that one. Yeah. Not a very long break for that Nemesis O-line.
No, on that downwind field, had a tough time getting it upfield, and then a nice lefty backhand break by Nesferado.
So Fury able to rotate through their depth. You know, this team has continued to attract these top players from these top programs on the West Coast. I mean, the West Coast has won college nationals for every year since 2001. And they're picking up these players from Stanford, from UC Berkeley, from Sonoma State, from UC Santa Barbara, from UC San Diego.
A few Oregon players, go Ducks.
Oregon.
Julia Sherwood on the line.
And despite having a significant amount of turnover in some of those years, Fury's maintained this dominance. I think a lot of these folks, they want to play with Matty. I think Matty is, you know, he's well renowned as the best coach in the women's game, and possibly in the game as a whole. And I think players are attracted there because they know that they get to play on the special team, the special program. Here's a shot from Nemesis, and Nemesis gets on the board. That's Lori Ike with the goal.
Nemesis gets on the board. Carol Lee into the end zone.
I believe Laura Moore had the assist. Nope. I would be mistaken. That was Carol Lee. Sending the flick downwind. Getting their first offensive goal on the downwind point.
So Nemesis stops the bleeding, at least temporarily here, able to get on the board. And now they've got their work cut out for them. To get back in this game, they're going to need at least 2 of these upwind breaks.
yeah, those upwind breaks are going to be difficult. But I think that their offense, after having some time to collect, is going to perform a lot better the next point on that downwind side. Defense hoping to make something work here.
So Megan Tomey. Tomey with the disc for the pull.
Eagle football for Nemesis.
Blady pull. Good distance and rolls out of bounds. That's a very solid pull considering these conditions. Sherwood checking in for Fury. To Snyder. Snyder going across the field. Back to Snyder. Nice through the middle. Fajardo. Fajardo downfield. Sherwood just outside the goal line. Snyder.
Play had stopped temporarily because players thought there was a foul called. I don't think the count stopped at all.
And Snyder with some good movement, breaks the mark. Was that Nemesis calling that just down? So we're going to get an observer ruling. The observer immediately rules that it's up, and it's a goal. Fajardo with the goal. Snyder with the assist. So Fury, first possession, works it in downwind for a 6-1 lead.
Yeah, close catch. We're going to get a better angle on it up here. Clearly up, great play as the wind was just pushing that thing straight into the ground.
So interesting matchup on that last point. You saw number 20 for Nemesis, Amelia Garcia, matching up on Alex Snyder. Amelia Garcia, a young player for this Nemesis squad, but very tall and very athletic. Kubalanza was saying that he expects her to want to be one of the best players in the women's game in the next couple of years. But I think the idea there is putting on a very big mark on Alex Snyder and make it difficult for her to throw those downfield breaks. But Snyder's still able to control that offense.
A timeout called by Fury here. Probably wanting to focus on this upwind break. And when they take a break, we're going to take a quick break too. Be sure to stay tuned for the coverage here at Club Nationals by NGN. Fun.
Welcome back to our coverage of the 2012 USA Ultimate Club Championships, where six-time defending champions Fury are up 6-1 over Chicago Nemesis. Fury just off the timeout, and here's the pull.
Good pull about half field, plenty of float. Fury's already set up when the disc is picked up.
Delore with the disc. Next downfield. Doobie.
Nemesis just outside the goal line, and this is the place where their patience really has to show through.
Johnson tries the forehand around break to Delora, but again, the wind just pushes that out of reach. So Fury working upwind the full 70. Nancy Sun. And Kelly Johnson gets it back.
Great D, maybe 15 yards outside the end zone. Nemesis is already getting into their vertical stack. Red zone offense.
Downfield to Gould. Gould looking for the end zone. To Shield. Looks like there's a pick call. Nazarov calling the pick.
Two Nemesis players there. Johnson getting the disc. And she goes around on that flick break again and goes over everyone. Caught by Christine Doobie. And Nemesis takes it to 2.
So Nemesis taking down one part of the equation, which is scoring on their downwind points. That's 2 consecutive downwind points they managed to score on. The next piece, obviously, is creating those turnovers on Fury and then getting them upwind. That's the much harder piece.
Very difficult, but it could be temporary. The wind sounds like it's dying down a little bit.
So you see Kubalanza talking to his D-line. Talking to his O-line, excuse me.
If you remember. It's not that big a deal. Are you still on me, though?
Lori Ike with the pull. Nice pull. Nazarov in the middle. Nazarov with a shot deep. Beautiful throw. Caught by number 21. That's Claire Sharman with the goal for Fury. And Fury making quick work of that downwind point, 7-2.
Yeah, the throw there comes almost without any hesitation. Just turns around. Claire Sharman, first-year player on this Fury team, but very, very speedy. And Nazarov, as she gets it, turns around. I assume that she knew that her receiver was there. She could also have been going for the field position. But a good shot. And Fury 1 point away from taking this game into halftime. Not surprisingly, Alex Snyder is in on this D-line. Sure, Matty Zhang wanted to make the adjustment where he could get some of his strong throwers onto the field for an upwind point.
So Cree Howard with a great pull, gets down to the far brick mark. Nice break to Shield. Kay Delora wide open in the middle. Florida Johnson. Marguerite Gould working downfield. Gould to Doobie. Doobie right on the goal line. Nice break to Johnson. Johnson around to Shield. Nemesis showing some great movement here on this downwind point. A little over the top to Johnson. Oh, and Johnson tries to go with an inside-out backhand, just not the right choice on that throw to Doobie. So Fajardo picks up the disc. I'm not sure what Fajardo was trying to do there, but somehow it ended up in the hands of Sherwood. Travel call by DeLauro on Sherwood. This one's going to be coming back. So observer rules, it was a travel. This one's coming back. Sherwood has a very quick release on her foot, and she often gets called for travels. You see this a lot in her game. I remember watching her play for Oregon. She's often trying to throw and go, and so it's kind of bang, bang, and sometimes she is traveling. Here's Snyder with the disc. Nice movement. Here's Howard with a shot.
That disc flies beautifully. Into the hands of
It's Alicia Dansker with the goal. So Fury upwind break for half, taking us to 8-2. Here in pool play action, power pool play action here at the 2012 USA Ultimate Club Championships. Encoding by Elemental Technologies, this is NGN. We'll be taking a break. We'll be on a different stream for the second half, but be sure to come and find us.